Welcome everyone. I'm Ivy Rivera. I'm a psychic medium at Taino Airwalk, and this is my Ask Ivy show where you drop a $10 donation and your question. Any type of question under the sun goes. Health, wealth, travel, your love life, relationships. You're asking about a pet. You want to hear from a deceased loved one, paranormal, spiritual, literally anything. Tonight is unlimited. I can't do that all the time, but I can tonight. So you could drop as many questions as you want. Do include the first name or the initials of whoever it is that you're referring to if you're asking specifically about someone or an address, or you're moving from state to state, or you're asking about a job. Include the first name or at least the initials of whatever it is that you are specifically referring to. If you already dropped your question, you didn't do that, go back in. Diana, my beautiful producer, will be popping your question up here on YouTube on the screen. And then you know the answer is coming in for you. We also started time stamping in the comment section because I know a lot of you buy your questions early and then like you watch the replay once it's published here on YouTube. And so Diana is keeping timestamps in the comment section that may have to go up after we're done. So you can always go back and just rewatch your question. You don't have to search and sift for it. So we certainly appreciate her for doing that. But don't make Diana chase you down for additional information on your question. And if you dropped a donation, she's not going to be chasing you down and hunting you to be like, what's your question? You either leave your question or you don't. Okay. So everyone do your part, please. And keep an eye in case she's messaging you in the comments because something is confusing. Like your payment name doesn't at all match your social media name, for example. Okay, let's go with our first question here. This is for Anna Pekka. Anna Pekka says, do you see using my Instagram platform as a good way to build traction with my business? It's called Align with Anna. It's for work and hosting events. Okay, let me look into it. It's all right. It's all right. You know, you may have to put, Zuckerberg's got everything rigged, of course, and has for a long, long time, which is part of the reason I never invested in Instagram in any serious way, because Facebook was bad enough, but it's no better. He owns both, if you're not familiar. I'm sure you already know that. But essentially what he's done is he's got it rigged so that if you're talking about a .com, if you're speaking on business, if you are like, I feel like I'm choking going into this reading. If you're trying to say something about a product, a service, even if you think you've got it cleverly masked so that it doesn't seem that way, trust me, he knows. And, the bots know. And it's like, it just develops into this whole situation where your channel is stunted, but the post itself that you may have worked really hard on, even if it's like a great video or something, it's like it has the plague. I mean, no one will touch it. No one will go near it. It seems like it's failing because no one's seeing it. And the solution to crippling you out is to give him cash. So do you want to be putting money into getting the movement going there? I think that, and for all the lawsuits he's had, some of which I've been part of, he will take the money and then have bots watch your shit. So it's not like you paid and you're getting organic interaction. You're getting fake organic interaction. Understand what I'm saying? I don't see you being able to escape this for a period of time, perhaps. But I think you need to be realistic that once it comes to like pay Zuckerberg out to get this thing running, you're wasting your money. You're literally flushing it right down the toilet. Okay. I'm going to leave it at that. That pretty much covers everything I would need to say in this message. If it's working and you'll know. If it isn't, because every time you post something, he's like, let me suggest that you throw $35 at this and da 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 da. Just forget it. Just, you know what I mean? Try something else. See if you can rearrange. But assume that you are flagged, and so probably everything is flagged as business, even if you think you're being clever about it. I do think you could be putting out a lot of really good information in regards to like what people need, you know, and how you help people. I get a lot of videos with you before and after, or like transitional clips, you know, 11-second, 13-second. Sometimes if you're talking a lot, even up to 32, 35 seconds, but they may do better on TikTok, for example. But it's not a complete bust. If you want to navigate it, you could, I think. All right. Thank you, Anna. We are going to move on to another one. Why does everything look crooked to me? And I didn't notice that earlier. Whatever. I'm going to have to ignore it. Okay. My OCD. All right. Let's go with Mackenzie Mooser. Mackenzie says, how long might it be before I meet my next romance? I'm clearing people out currently. Keep clearing. When we have to go through a clearing, it's a sign that we need to be doing more healing, because we're clearly learning something. Like we have had no boundaries, or we have been overreaching with people, or we have some codependency issues, or we settle for what is below us because we don't really know who we are, or we don't really know what we want, or we don't really believe we deserve better. Those are issues that can't just be fixed by cutting people off. While it helps and it's a step in the right direction, it's also a major wake-up call that there's a lot of healing internally that needs to be done. Therapeutically, spiritually, energetically, mentally, emotionally, all the things. And so that is not the right time to be like, I'm available to date, you know, I'm looking for new friendships, or I'm looking to you go out there and meet new people, because what you're going to attract is whatever is on the same level, whatever you are in alignment with right now. And if that is a spot that is sensitive, vulnerable, and in need of healing right now, and that's all that you can attract to you are people on that level, it isn't going to go well. Okay, because you are either going to attract people who are wounded and also should be focused on their healing journey, and or people who would like to victimize you because you're vulnerable. So this isn't really the time to be focused on that. So I'm just going to give that warning. Okay. The next, let me change your question for you a little bit, just because I feel responsible to do so. The next valuable romance that's coming in for you would probably be coming in at about 1.5 years, 2 years and 7-8 months. You'll have other ones coming in before that, but I really wouldn't invest highly there until you've done your work. Again, be careful. But you could find yourself talking to someone around that time who is very reserved, who is very mature. I see green eyes, dark hair, or light eyes, dark hair. Are they changing? I can't tell if his eyes are changing. It's like they're brown, they're hazel. I can't tell what's going on here. Maybe blue, maybe. But they're light, okay? They're light. They're not like dark brown. If they are brown, they're very light. This person is incredibly centered. This person has dealt with death before. So like family members passing away, and having to be there as a support for others in the family, that can bring a kid into a state of maturity. So, you know, he's been a mature adult for a really long time. Empathetic, so emotional intelligence, intuitive intelligence, is mediumistic, is quite psychic, and I think you guys could have a ton of fun. Feels like you guys bringing out your inner child and being able to play together. But this person is quite a bit detached. This isn't someone who's looking to rush into a relationship because he could take it or leave it. He has a full, totally fulfilled life on his own. So if someone can come in and add to his life, he's great with entertaining that. But if it's chaotic, if it's dramatic, if someone is unhealed, if it's going to take from his peace and his happiness and where he wants to go in life, his freedom, because he does like to shake it up, he's not entertaining it. All right, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, looks really nice for sure. Be nice to have an adult, right? All right, let's move on to another one. Why do I feel like I'm blind tonight? Move this closer. Hopefully I don't knock anything over. You know what? Forget it. All right. Eric Evans. What's my life contract? Am I supposed to be due? What am I supposed to be doing? A life contract reading takes a full hour for me to get through. And quite frankly, they should be like an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and a half. Okay. So your life contract, the way I do them, you can book it at any time, but it's made up of the 5 to 6 pivotal points that you have. These pivotal points are major opportunities in life for you to level up. That's it. That's what we get, about 5 to 6 per person. And so that's what I break down, and it takes an hour. It would match your Vedic or Western astrology. It would match your numerology chart. Let's see what we can talk about in this span of time I have here today. What's his nearest pivotal point? What's he supposed to be doing? Getting 35, and I'm getting 42, getting 37 going into 38, and some losses, some hits, some breakups, relationships. It does look like you're sandwiched in between a couple pivotal points where you were supposed to be releasing a lot of bad habits that were holding you back, entertaining people and circumstances that you weren't supposed to anymore, investing in contracts and other scenarios because you thought you were supposed to, because you already had been, because this is what people do. This is how you get a paycheck, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. And so it's almost like you're breaking out of the matrix. It's like the last few years, I want to say literally 2 years, 7 months to 3 years, you really started breaking out of the matrix. It's like, I'm waking up. I'm deconstructing from the toxicity of things like capitalism, the patriarchy. You're figuring out that you've been a cog in the wheel, that you were trained up to do it, and you may be very good at doing it. Like, I'm not saying, your paycheck is off or your career is off in terms of tradition with society, but that's all man-made. And so when we look at your life contract, we're talking about what you actually came here to do. Okay. So part of this waking up process, which you're still in, for you, it runs a total of 5 to 6 years. You're just starting. You're like a wee little baby, figuring out that you've sort of been like, in the Truman Show, you're like, what the hell? Like, I'm living a lie? Like, it's all a lie? Yeah, it is. And so one of the things we're supposed to be focusing on and building for the next 3 to 4 years, but 2 years in particular for you, is having a stronger focus on how you can assist people. I'm not saying you have to go and become a nurse or get a degree in psychology per se, or become an EMT necessarily, but there is this sense of you healing people that connects well in the clinical sense to the sciences, where you have a strong suit and you have spent 3 lives in your past working in the medical field and in the sciences. And then we have this other aspect that feels a little bit more like, the sociology, the psychology, but it's like healing people through counseling, or just telling them, giving them the tools, informing them of what they need to do. You could say training, leadership, communications. So how do you want to marry those worlds? What is it exactly that you want to do? I will tell you this, at the base, you really need to be really careful. Whatever you're doing it as like an independent contractor, consultant work, entrepreneurship, business owner. Okay. So there's a lot that needs to be worked on here. And there's a lot in a life contract. For those of you who don't know what your path is in life, or what the heck you signed on to before you came to Earth, you can book one anytime. But again, it is going to take a full hour for me to get through it. All right, let's move on to another one. This is for Manny. Hey, Manny. So Manny says, hi, Ivy. Could I receive a message from Bob? Rock, who has passed over. Thank you. Okay. Bob Rock, step forward, please, for Manny. What do you have to say to Manny? He's like, I don't know what kind of beer this is. I mean, I wanted to say Corona, but it looks more like maybe a Bud Light or like it's in a bottle. It's in an actual like brown bottle. So I'm not a beer drinker. I'm not sure what I'm looking at, but he's clanking a beer with you. And I feel like this is just, when the two of you got together, there was a lot of humor. He's funny. I mean, he's funny AF. He's intellectual humor, observational humor. You know, he's just kind of smart ass the way he says things, a little dry sometimes, but I feel like you guys really got each other. I feel like the banter here is fun and nice. He clinks this beer with you and it's like, cheers, like I made it, you know, I made it. I feel like you're also making it. Like he's in a place of peace and it feels like you're coming more and more into a place of peace. Like we made it. This isn't just celebration about us talking today. Okay. This is celebration over our lives and where we are, where we're at. He said where we're at, how we're still together. He is checking on you pretty regularly. I want to say like every 3 days or so, you may just catch a little something. He said, catch a glimpse. It's like out of the corner of my eyes. So I hate that. It's like, I swear to God, you know, you just saw him out of the corner. You're like, what the hell? Like he's freaking standing there, you know, and you see him literally with your eyes, but like out of the corner of your eye. If you're going to look, it's going to go, but it's there. Something about a very particular kind of bird also. It looks like a very fat blue jay or something like this, like a well-fed, you know, bird that looks disproportionate to what they're supposed to look like. Maybe a bird that needs to go on a diet. But I see brown, I see some white, and I see blue. Okay, blue. And he's just funny. I feel too like be watching maybe more towards spring or, you know, wherever you live. I mean, maybe you're getting some of this now, but it's like worms and caterpillars. And pennies from heaven, pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, tokens. He's leaving you pennies from heaven around. I feel like a picture of him. I don't know if you recently put this in a frame or if you're thinking about putting it in a frame, but I feel like keep a picture of him out. It's an easy way for the two of you to communicate. Just giving a red rose, which is a birthday or anniversary right around this time. This can also be a passing anniversary or just a deep love. Take it how it resonates. Visiting you in a dream and calling you on the phone. Calling you on the phone. Okay, so we do have a pairing here. This is beautiful. You cannot ask for better than this. We have a pairing on the clairs, and that is in clairaudience. So he can ring your left ear, tinnitus. You pick up the phone and listen. It's whatever thoughts or songs he's putting in your head, okay? So you hear it in your head as though it is your own inner voice, but it's his words to you. He uses it at night too when he visits you in dreams. So you may get that like, I mean, you may hear him audibly at that time, but it's like, you know, the ears ring. It's annoying, especially as you're dozing off or, you know, you're waking up when the veil is lifted between the worlds. 3 to 5:30 in the morning, the haunting hour, he uses it. It's a gateway. Okay, he definitely uses that with you. He just, you know, he says like, I love you, brother. I just want you to know I'm keeping an eye. Okay, he just wants you to know he loves you and he's keeping an eye. Be careful with your knees. I can't prescribe or diagnose. Your knees, your joints, your ankles, your feet, joints, the plantar fasciitis thing or the plantar muscle or the hump. Don't put so much on your back and don't lay weird, don't sit weird, and don't put so much on like your hips, your knees, you know, but it's mostly the knees down. Don't put so much, okay, on there. When you need to get off or you need to have better insoles or something, you know, do it. Take care of that area. It'll buy you a lot of long-term happiness, he says. You may also be taking something. Again, I can't prescribe or diagnose. You may be taking something that looks almost like calcium, but it's for the bone marrow. It's called biotin or not biotin. What the hell is this called? I don't know, but you may want to start taking something for that. Okay. Little extra protection coming in, always wise. All right. Thank you, Manny. We are going to move on. Thank you, Bob. We're going to move on to someone else. If you guys are tuning in late, this is my Ask Ivy show where you drop a $10 donation. It is unlimited tonight, so you can ask as many questions as you want. Any question under the sun goes. Health, wealth, travel, love, paranormal. You have a deceased loved one or pet you want to speak to. Spiritual questions. And I do ask everyone at this time, please stop for just 1 second, give this video a thumbs up, drop a heart or a comment of any kind. I would love to hear where you're tuning in from, especially. Please do share this video. I'm sure there's someone watching on your channel who needs this right now. And if you need to book a reading privately, you can do that at Ivy Rivera Psychic Medium.com. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. I appreciate you. All right, let's go ahead and move on to another one. This is another one for Anna. And this is, will anyone I meet recently through real estate, JVGCB, have any further impact on my life? Are these all different people? It's very confusing. That all came in one chunk. Is that how she wrote it out, Diana? You write it. All right. Will they have an impact? Any further impact on my life? Okay, I'll just do this my own way here. Any further impact? Are they going to have any further impact? This section of people here. VG a little bit, CB a little bit, J not so much, even though that may be like, how do I want to say this? I'm here, I'm lingering, I'm aware. Like, it's like I'm aware of this. You know, person or situation or what they help me with. But the middle bit there and the end bit, yes, more there. An opportunity, an option, a contract potentially. With the VG over here is coming in, and this could be, you know what it almost reminds me of, even though Spirit's not saying that, it reminds me psychically of a referral. You know, oh, I told someone about this thing we did, you know what I mean? I recommend you over here. Would you be interested in this? Whatever, whatever. It could also be something more like a contract, like taking whatever we did and I want to sort of elongate this, you know, I want to expand upon this. And when I go with the CB end of this, I feel like multiple things. So it's not just like one more, it's like multiple coming in time. You know, this may be someone who sort of disappears. You know, I had someone message me the other day and I was like, what the hell happened to you? You know, sometimes you find yourself working with somebody quite a lot and then they just kind of fall off and it's like, okay, you know, they pop back up out of nowhere like a year later or whatever. And it's like, okay, you know, I'm cool with that. It feels inconsistent, but it's definitely there. And I just want to say, when you're dealing with people like this, everything in its season, you know, as long as they have good follow through when they show up, like, don't be popping in here wasting my time, you know, but is this worth it? I think a lot of it would be. So yes. And that what they're bringing in feels like people, conversation, names, networking, links. Okay. That lead to what I was feeling earlier, which is sort of like, you know, these contracts, some of them short, some of them longer or bigger investments. This looks good. Somebody also seems to be telling you, I don't know if it's these people or not necessarily. I'm like just hearing this. This is Spirit's mentioning with you. Somebody seems to be telling you to change your name, to change your title, to change your, it's almost like I want to change my appearance. Right. And as soon as I heard it, I was very tempted to put on my red lip gloss here. This is about power in your presentation, power in your words, feng shui, the red, a person wearing the red lipstick, the red tie, the red shoes, they get the job. You know, this is power, being seen as powerful. This is money. I'm trying to see if they're accurate about this. If you've been thinking about changing your look, your headshot, your title, your presentation in any way, I think take into consideration what they're saying and suggesting this to you. But that also doesn't mean that, you know, you have to take everyone's suggestions at face value. Like, you know, do it your own way. Consult Spirit, for example. Okay, because they're right and they're wrong. They're right and they're wrong. So yeah. Okay. So very interesting. Good luck with all of that. I love seeing networking work out. Fun. All right, let's move into another one. So Edgar wants to know, my Aunt Hilda passed away last Friday, and her funeral will be on the 23rd. Interesting. Does she have any messages for me? Messages from Hilda. I'm so sorry for your loss, Edgar. Hilda, something about cats coming to you as cats, coming to you as an orange cat, a tabby cat, a fat cat with white on it. May not be completely white, but white on it. Like the head or the chest area, the upper back, white on it. Birds, she's using birds as well, small birds, little birds, hummingbirds, sparrow type size birds, coming up close to you, staring at you, almost like landing on you or like eating out of your hands. She'll be using some butterflies. She wants you to tell the family that she made it. I made it. She said, I made it and I'm loving it. I made it and I'm loving it. I'm home. She gives me this feeling of being, this isn't the first time a spirit has done this, but it's like I'm in warm water. It reminds me of the hot tub. It's like, oh God, thank God I'm here. It's like I made it. Or taking a hot shower, you're like, oh, thank God, thank God. Or your warm bed, with the heating blanket, you're like, oh, I made it. Everything's going to be all right because I'm warm. I'm warm. And like nothing could penetrate or bother you or get at you, in those moments. It's perfect alignment with safety and ease and peace and healing and joy, and rest. She's in a restful state. Yeah, she's just relaxing right now. That's it. She's relaxing. Give out some red roses. It does seem like there are two people in the family. No, red rose is a birthday or anniversary right around this time. This can also be like a passing anniversary. Or just a deep love, but I'm feeling more like these are anniversaries or birthdays. There are two people. Now, I don't know if that hits now. One hits before the other by about maybe 3 or 4 days. But at the time, it feels like of the service or the funeral. That may make more sense. It's fine. It's within the time frame. Okay, so if you could hand out to anyone who would be there, it feels like these two people who need to get a red rose. It feels like one female, one male. Also, this may be her son. I'm wondering if this is a son. But she wants you to know also that she's keeping an eye on you regularly, and she'll be around if you need the fire lit under your ass, because it seems like sometimes you're missing things, or you get tunnel vision, or you have in the box thinking like robotic, or I must do, you know what I mean? Do. And it's like be, just be. Okay. And so she'll come sort of like the fire under you and help you to recenter or refocus on the things that are really important, all right, for you to be paying attention to at that time. I feel like you saw her. I don't know if you saw her come to the side of the bed, but she will be visiting in a dream. There's talk of one, or this just happened last night, but it's like, I feel like you're going to see her physically. Okay. Coming is something about the left side with you, which is your receiving side. Okay. Can also mean she's on mom's side, the family. I didn't really look at that, but take it out resonates. I think that she's going to be, coming close. Your ear may ring, tinnitus, heart palpitations, perfusive sweating out of nowhere. And then she delivers messages, okay, to you. So be watching for her in that way as well. She said you're the keeper of the books. You're the keeper of the photos. I don't think you are. I mean, psychically, I don't see this. But the fact that she's saying it can suggest that you will be. So I wouldn't be surprised if next time you're with your family, they're like, here are some photo albums, or you start taking up interest in creating photo albums. Thank you, Edgar. Thank you, Hilda. And I'm sorry for your loss. Okay, let's move on to another one. Alicia Fulvey says, Dave H. wants to use my house as collateral to help secure a loan to buy a warehouse for cannabis production. Wondering if this deal would be beneficial to me, or what you see about him. I don't like it. I don't like it in any way. I don't like it in any shape. I don't like it in any form. Even if you had been the one who was feeding this conversation or investing in this relationship or talking about potential, you know what I mean, business possibilities, even if you were the one leaning into it, which I doubt, it may seem that way, but like, let's just say, okay, I still think it's really important to know when to back out and be like, I changed my mind. You know what I mean? What I'm hearing is he needs to figure out how to do this on his own. I think he has a lot of ideas, most of them not good. I think he has a lot of ideas, and he seems to think that in life in general, that he can finagle things, that he can figure things out, that I can figure it out as I go or figure it out later. There is a time and a place for that to work well. And that time and place is when you're in alignment with your life contract, with your life path, with the other people you're dealing with. You're in divine timing. When you've done the work on yourself, when you've gotten rid of the baggage you're supposed to. Something about him also reads, and this isn't in alignment. The other thing is, I heard he missed the bus. So like, people who knew to get in on cannabis, like they kind of, you got to catch with business, you have to catch a wave, you know, or just sit on the beach and sit that one out. You know what I mean? It seems like he's got a lot of ideas, but they're always after he missed the wave. He missed the bus, right? Something else unhealthy about him comes up. I would never, ever do business with someone like this. I've recently had to cut some people off because they are like this. It seeps into everyone else and eventually becomes toxic. Like I just caught someone lying a whole bunch and like undercutting other people and throwing them under the bus. I'm not saying that's what he's going to do, but he has an energy of escapism and avoidance. And when someone escapes or avoids themselves, growth, therapy, hard work, shadow work, what have you, that is eventually going to affect you, your money, okay? It's like gum on the bottom of your shoe, dealing with someone like this. So if I saw him being more serious about processing his own stuff, I would say, well, he's working on it. No one's perfect and da, 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 da. You know, we could look at the possibilities, but I don't see him looking at all at working on any of that stuff. And so when you're dealing with someone who has avoidant or escapist tendencies, that stuff just builds and builds and builds and builds. Okay. And life is a spider web. There aren't categories. So there isn't like doing business with Dave over here could never affect my health or my other money or my other relationships. No. It's not categories. Okay. That's a man-made construct. That's a societal construct. Everything is a spider web. And if you have a big gaping hole in one chunk of your spider web, what's going to happen when the storm hits, right? Everything will go down. So I would just say no. Nope. But the most important message that I got here, if you remember nothing else out of this, is that he's supposed to do this on his own. He's supposed to figure out a better way. He's not supposed to be leaning on you for that. If he's serious about doing it. I'm not even saying he should do it. I'm just saying if he's going to pull it off, that's how it's meant to be. This isn't it. Nope. I wouldn't put anything in. Thank you, Alicia. We're going to move on to another question here from Bridget. Bridget says, I have a major move coming up in a few months, either California or Australia. I'm wondering if you know where I'm going. You have to pick where you're going. Okay. And what kind of work you see me doing there. Oh, you did say work. Because I kept tripping over that. Like work is the only word that wanted to come out of my mouth. So let's just start with that. Work. Where does work? Best options for work lead? California. Yeah, California is kicking Australia's ass. I don't know what's going on in Australia, but it's choppy. It's like the beard that won't grow in. There's something wrong. There's something like it's best probably just to get rid of it altogether because you've got like one section working over here, two over here, but they're so far apart. It's almost like I'm talking about two different sides of, you know, I'm hearing like the island. It's almost like, you know, which can also suggest exclusion. That's not the first time I got that with Australia in a money reading for someone in the last couple of weeks. Something's going on in Australia that is very, and will become more so going into the next few years, isolating, exclusionary. If you're getting something going there, it can't get it going anywhere else. Something's weird about that. There's no flow. It's entrapment. And I'm not saying they're running it that way purposefully, but it is what it is. And what we want to be doing is being more in the flow, so that if we're working with people and on a project, it has expansion opportunities. It has longevity. We can use it as leverage for more. We don't want to have to drop something entirely and go and recreate somewhere else. Like, that's hard. That's extra labor. Okay. So I feel like, why do it? So work comes up in that, and that's what your guides want you to pay attention to the most. California for you, quite a few different options: expansion, networking, partnerships, additional contracts, one contract rolling into 5 contracts, one contract rolling into one brief contract rolling into a 2-year contract, this to this. I mean, it's just like I'm hitting a gold mine here. I think that on a soul level, though, you want to go to Australia. And I think that if you have unfinished business there, past life stuff, which you do, you may want to go get it out of your system in bite-sized pieces, and keep it open as another option for you, but not necessarily something you get full on invested in. I think that if you were to do it in the next couple years, though, where you do decide to full on just go into Australia, I think you may be able to finagle something around that time, like somewhere between like 1 year and 3 months to 2 years, where it would be better. Okay. But as of like right this minute, it's paling in comparison. And be careful, because this isn't all blatantly obvious. You know, it could be a situation where you get involved and then you learn that way. You know, it looks one way and it is another. So, yeah. All right, we're going to move on to another one. Thank you, Bridget. Who do we have next? Edgar is just giving some feedback on his reading. He says, thanks, Ivy. I was thinking of my aunt on Monday at work, and in that moment, a hummingbird, get out of here. It's like I'm psychic, appeared and was hanging outside our window. I knew it was her. Yeah, there's no way to mistake that. That's unbelievable. That's really impressive too, considering, you know, she had to be getting up there in age, because that's something only the young and the really old are pulling off this soon after a passing. Amazing. Yeah, she's a force to be reckoned with. Very cute. Hummingbirds, love it. All right, so happy you had that. We're going to move on to another one. We're coming in here. This is for CJG. CJG says, hi, Ivy. Could you give me a message from my grandma, EN, who passed away last year? Okay, so grandma, for CJG. Okay. It's like my jaw's popping. My back hurts. I don't know. Maybe you just need some pampering or something. But like, it just feels like my body hurts, and it feels stress related, you know, and it feels like sadness, and it feels like a little bit of emptiness, and like, I don't want to say loneliness. I mean, but the mind can go there, like, well, maybe I'm lonely. You know what I mean? It's like, well, society just likes to say we're lonely all the time. It's a lot deeper than that. That's a byproduct. It's not even necessarily true in this case, but you do seem to be disappointed repeatedly, and there seems to be a lack or a loss. And she's talking about coming in and bringing healing to that. So if you've been having some strange feelings, like She's a little bit forceful. It's almost like she comes up behind you and is like, lean forward, and I'm putting healing on your lower back, you know, and it's like radiating up and through you to relieve that stress. Some people do tend to carry stress in the lower back, especially when it's about disappointing communications with people we had been investing in or are currently investing in, misunderstandings, a feeling of frustration, not being heard. I'm clearing my throat. I'm speaking my truth, but it isn't working. Okay, we can accumulate stress in that lower back area like that. And then for you, there it is. It's quite literally in the jaw. Did you guys hear that? Like my jaw's popping. It's quite literally in the jaw. So I can't prescribe or diagnose, but be careful you're not grinding your teeth, and be careful that when you are feeling stressed, she said, just slow down. Just be like, what is this thought? You know, what is this feeling? What is this emotion? Like, this is below me. I'm not doing this. We're not doing this. Like, not today, Satan. Like, get behind me. Like, you know, we're not doing this. It's almost like you don't stop yourself enough and say, correction. You wait until your jaw's popping and you've got back pain and you're like, oh, you know, this is stress causing me actual physical manifestation of problems here. I think that this is something she has karmic debt with, because she may have been one of these go, 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 go type of people until she was older. And then by then, it's unfortunate because then no one really listens to the elders by then, because it's like, well, you're old. What do you have to worry about? You know what I mean? But they're right. When they start saying things like, you know, slow down, pay attention, be more mindful, you know, treat yourself, stop worrying. And they, you know, I just see her taking on this sort of like, I don't give a shit attitude. Like, that is something they often wish they had taught you back when you were little, you know? So she's working with you on this and bringing in healing. She also wants you to know that you have a lot of celebration coming up. So it's almost this feeling of like, soon you're going to be dancing the night away. What song is that? Anyways, it's like you're going to be dancing. This could be quite literal also, but you know, you're going to be celebrating. You're going to be like popping the champagne. You know, I see champagne glasses clinking, people celebrating, networking, building. That thought, am I lonely? Am I lonely? Am I lonely? Tick tock, tick tock. I don't know what you're rushing for with this, but it seems to just sort of dissolve and go away. Okay. Don't rush yourself. Don't put pressure on yourself, and be more mindful is what she wants you to do. If you want to make her happy, if you want to really show her that you love her, you'll do that loving thing for yourself by stopping and being like, I don't like that thought. I don't care for that feeling. I don't care for that tension in my jaw or my neck or my back. I don't care for that. We're not doing this today. We're not doing this. And you got to get it in check. You have to go in. Okay. You have to go in. It's not about what's out here. It's about what's in. Okay. Race to the finish line, she said. Also giving a red rose, which is a birthday or anniversary right around this time. This can also be a passing anniversary or just a deep love. Take it out, resonates. She's with a grandfather as well. Something about rushing to the finish line. Stop rushing to the finish line. And let's move on to another one. Thank you, CJG. Okay, another one for Edgar. Edgar wants to know, does Spirit have any career messages for me regarding my job as a therapist? I'm trying my best to strengthen my clinical skills and continue to share my knowledge with my coworkers. Yeah. Okay. Any messages on this? Work and money guide, joy guide. It's odd. It feels like this section of your career is based more on your mental and emotional well-being. So this portion of your career is brought to you by your mental stability, your ability to do like shadow work, process things, really fully analyze why maybe you think certain things or feel certain things at different times, what to do with that, how to transmute it, what does it mean, what's the bigger picture. It's almost like the productivity in your career for a while is going to come not through the career itself, but your own personal development, thoughts, and feelings in particular. Okay. Now, I see something a little bit interesting happening here with this, which is that you are going to have a mirroring effect going on at work, probably with your clients. I mean, maybe with your coworkers. I don't want to call her this, so just take it out resonates. But it seems like with your clients, do you call them clients, patients, whatever, right? It's like they're going through something. You're teaching them something. You're advocating on their behalf. There is this thing that starts to happen, and it's always been there, but not like this, where it's reflecting back onto you what in here I need to look at. What is blocking that chakra for me? What within me is hanging on from a past life? Where are the blocks? Why is this a trigger? It's really interesting. And I would suggest that every time it happens, get a fresh journal, keep it completely separate, because energy is contagious. And I have to fix TikTok. The puzzle is popping up. But I would keep a completely separate journal if I were you. Keep this energy away from all your other writing material or whatever. Keep it out of your bed. I don't know about you, but I let things pile up in my bed, like just books and journals and all kinds of shit. And it's like, sometimes that's best not to have in there. Keep it away, but go to it. And every time you're sort of like triggered, or you feel a mirroring, or you feel that from one of your clients' situations, there we go. Every time you feel that it came up, write about it, write it out, okay? Or at least make note of it. It feels like this is going to be journaling that eventually gets published in some way. So it may not have a ton to do with right now, other than, you're processing things mentally and emotionally, you're doing the inner work and healing. And it's positively affecting your career. You will also be more effective the more you do this every single time you do it, even if you feel like, I don't want to, or it's a setback, or I don't want to look at this. I'm at work. I don't want to be emotionally upset, but every single time you do it, you are being received better afterward. Okay. So it's receptivity. Okay. Very interesting. We all go through different phases. You go through one phase, you switch out. Now we're going to go through another phase. This is why I'm always telling you guys too, like, healing is not linear. Don't push so hard, because I have a lot of clients who like, what do I still need to heal? What do I need to heal next? Maybe I need a different therapist. Maybe I need a different this. Maybe what? Healing. And it's like, relax. Just like, the universe takes its sweet ass time showing up and assisting us with its 50% of the healing. You do 50% of the healing. You take a break when the universe tells you to take a break. It's cyclical. It comes back around when it's meant to. You do your part. The universe will eventually come in and do its 50% and just wash it away. Okay. But there's no point of going at it. Okay. Like boot camp. And I see you handling that nicely, Edgar. Like, you seem to be willing to go with the flow. All right, let's move on to another one. All right, this is for Kat Bathory. Can you tell me about my inheritance? Okay, is that the whole question for Kat? The inheritance? Let's see what's going on with this inheritance. Looks like 3 chunks. Looks like a smaller chunk, but the second smaller chunk is connected to a larger chunk. So this inheritance appears to break down technically into 3 different things, 2 that are connected, 1 that stands alone. And it looks like You could be talking about something that can be converted. This is just an example. I'm not saying that's what it is necessarily, but it's almost like if I had jewelry, I could like convert, I could sell it, or I could convert it into something else. Or, you know, I'm inheriting this thing, but I could like sell it off. I could change it. I could rearrange it in some way. I could see if other people want to have it as an investment. Like, you know, I could maybe use it as leverage. I could trade it out. I could trade it with other people involved in this situation potentially. It's like moving. This is a movable piece. Okay. And then these other two are not really a movable piece. It's like, it is what it is. This is what I'm getting. I keep seeing 28 as well. So could it be like 28,000 value? Significant enough value that you seem to be happy with it. So I heard like significant value, and it would appear that it's based on paperwork. So it's based on like a will or portions. If this were something, again, this is just an example. I'm not saying it has to be this, but say this were land or real estate and land. Okay. And we're going to move this thing, we're selling this thing, or someone's like buying you out, you know, it's chopped up into portions, it's pieces. So certain amounts going to certain people of the overall like sum of value. Okay. Versus like, we can't have 50 people living in this house. Okay. And I wonder if there are literally 5 people involved in that, because that number is actually standing out here. I think that what's happening too is that you're hearing more about it in a very concrete way. It's not like anyone's really asking you. It's like you're being told. And this could have started even just recently. I'm hearing too. So could it be the last 2 days, 2 weeks ballpark? Yeah. So there's more talk of this. Okay. And what is going out to who as well. And I think that you could find yourself being pretty content with this. I'm also wondering if you're supposed to be investing in like a new mode of transportation with this. You know, I'm doubting it involves a new mode of transportation, but I would wonder if maybe you are deciding to take it and roll it into a greater investment, like your mobility, okay, in some ways. So this could be transportation, this could be a side hustle, this could be business. It's like, this could be residency for you as well, but it's like, I'm taking it and I'm going to roll it into a bigger investment that's going to create fluidity and movement in my life. So that's part of what it's meant to be for. All right, so keep that in mind. There could also be 2 holdups with this. It's like, it's coming, it's not coming, it's coming, it's not coming, it comes. And it's like on a Tuesday, on a random day, you open your mailbox, you're like, okay, everything's here, you know, so to speak. But there's a lot of back and forth going on with it here for a bit. Okay. All right. Thank you, Kat. We're going to move on to another one. What else do we have coming in? Just a reminder, if you guys haven't already done so, this is my Ask Ivy show. You can ask any type of question under the sun, and you're going to drop a $10 donation. Tonight is unlimited. I can't do that all the time, but I can do it tonight. And if you need to book a private reading, you can go on to my website, Ivy Rivera Psychic Medium.com, to do that anytime. I work internationally. Okay, Kat said, thank you so much. This helped a lot. You're welcome, Kat. Good to see you. Maraid 1024 is next. Maraid says, hey, Ivy, I'm thinking about getting a tongue piercing. Is it something I should go through with, or should I scratch that idea completely? Sort of funny. So when we were in California, you know, and I was on some medication at the moment, but like, you know, I saw that with you when we were in your like sleeping loft area. And I don't remember what we were doing, but I was like picking something up, or you were moving things around. And when I looked at you, I saw you getting a tongue ring. Yeah, and then I saw it again. I wonder if that's when, was it like your eyebrow ring thing fell off or something? Like I saw it a couple times. I've seen this for you a few times. This is, I don't know why this brings you so much happiness, this thing that looks painful. But you seem to handle the pain well. I think as long as you're keeping it clean, I'm going to warn you that if you're going to be drinking like a lot of coffee or sugary drinks, and you're not thinking about it, you know, you're like, well, it's just an iced coffee with a little bit of sugar or a little bit of cream. Okay, that's the way to say that. Cream is sugar. Okay, so you may be like, well, I didn't put sugar in this one. I didn't put flavors. I didn't put syrup in this. Cream is sugar. It is. And if you are saying, well, it's good because it's iced coffee, it's just a little bit of cream, it's taking the swelling down, you know, this isn't going to hurt anything. They recommended I eat ice cream or have, you know, ice. Yes, but you can't let it sit there. So I can't prescribe or diagnose, but if you're going to be drinking anything that isn't water, let's just put it that way, okay, or like black coffee, you're going to need to flush it out. I would say the first 3 weeks that you have this thing, you seem to be a fast healer and you seem to have a really high pain tolerance. Now that can work against you in a situation like this, where maybe you're at work and you're like, oh, I forgot to rinse. And you're like, well, I'll get to it later. No, you're going to get to it now. The minute you realize you forgot, or try not to forget, you're going to go get to it now. You're going to take a break now. Okay. So carry mouthwash or whatever the doctor's recommending. It's probably going to be something like Listerine. I see the yellow Listerine, which can just mean something that isn't like flavored or it's the strongest, most potent. I see you pulling out a little vial of it and handling it. I think as long as you keep it clean, you're very careful about what you're drinking and letting any type of sugar at all sit in your mouth. I think you're going to be really happy with this thing. I think it looks cool. I think you can do a lot with it as far as like the decorative pieces you could put on it. And I think oddly, this does something for you that is a little unexpected in regards to amping up fluidity and change. So whenever we want to bring in some new energy, one of the ways to get in alignment with that and to start attracting it is to do something, anything. Changing your walk pattern, shopping somewhere else, taking up a class, or getting a tongue ring, apparently. You know what I mean? It seems to get the energy flowing in the right direction. And anything you're associating with it, like if you want to treat it like a ceremony, like this is what I'm manifesting and claiming into my life, I think it's going to work. And every single time you touch it or feel it or whatever, it's going to like amplify. Okay. So I like this. I like this for you. So weird. So weird you're doing that. I swear to God, I saw it. I don't know if I said anything about it when I did, but super funny. All right, Maria, have fun with it. We're going to move on to another one. Maria said, I'm cracking up. That's when my nose ring fell out. So funny. Well, yeah, but I saw it twice. I saw it once when I don't know if we were just coming in or what the heck we were doing. We were dealing with like objects. And then I saw it again. Yeah, it was your nose ring. And we were trying to put it on. And I'm like, I can get this. And then I saw you with a stick, like hardcore piercing. Oh God, I could never. To each his own. All right, have fun. We're going to move on to Alicia Fulvey. Alicia says, I'm wondering if you can see if I can trust these people in my remote spiritual group. Oh, okay, let's look right at the names. So we've got a Mary Lou, we've got a Nicole, and we've got a Tiffany. I'm not going to sugarcoat. Originally, I heard no and no way, but then a little bit of yes. So it's like, all right. So I'm glad there are 3 here because we got a no way, and a little bit of yes. Little bit of yes goes to Tiffany. No goes to Mary Lou. Oh, and a no way goes to Nicole. All right. So I didn't even really have to work at this reading, but I'll tell you why. Why is she no way? It's kind of obvious she's a no way. You know, sometimes the most horrible people are the ones who have like the feathers and the angel wings, and they're always light and love, and they're always, you know, and they're really just like stealing everyone's shit, and they're awful and they're backstabby. I'm not saying she is. I'm just saying that there are tendencies there that you should have already noticed in patterns, to come off as a little like too good to be true. You know, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. This is a gatherer also. So this is someone who's constantly talking, gathering information, trying to get the inside scoop, offering information only to extract information, because communication as a weapon is their currency. Then we go over here with Nicole, and I feel like that's a no, because Nicole doesn't know herself well enough. She has narcissistic tendencies, and she never really seems to work on it. And so even though sometimes she's okay and she would seem like an actual straightforward, honest person, like I am a straight shooter, I'm an open book, which sees what you get, that is not at all the case. And she rides that image hard. That's her MO. And it works a lot of the time. When someone doesn't know who they are and they're not continuously growing and working on themselves, and you may not see that, you know, behind the scenes, that's an automatic no, because they're inconsistent. You can't trust them sometimes, maybe, but it's a crapshoot, and we don't ever want to risk it. Tiffany is okay some of the time. Tiffany is a little bit weak-minded. Tiffany has a tendency to kind of go with the flow. Tiffany is Switzerland. Tiffany is always on the fence. Tiffany is the kind of friend who maybe, you know, he overhears people talking trash about someone else, and instead of cutting those people off or not sitting at that table, so to speak, they just go, well, you know, I didn't say it, or I wouldn't say that, or I don't agree with it, or I'm not like that. Yet you didn't say anything to correct it, and you're still hanging out with them and you tolerate it. You know what I mean? So it's sort of like she doesn't stand for anything. I don't trust anybody who doesn't stand for anything. However, she's not coming up as bad. You know, so could there be decent interactions there with her? Yeah. Or like even nicer interactions? Yeah, there could be. I don't love this. You know, it's pretty funny because I started, hold on, I'm just trying to, there's one more thing coming through here with her. You know, you may just be careful reaching out too, because it's like there's talk of you reaching out and trying to be like, let's have side conversations, or let's hang out, or let's, you know what I mean, get a little bit more in depth. And I just want to say, this isn't really the best time for you to be overreaching or reaching out. You know, pay attention to who's coming to you. And that doesn't mean everyone coming to you should, you know, is someone you should be dealing with. I'm just saying, pay attention to who's coming to you. I would always say with someone like Tiffany, I stay way back. Because you're weak-minded, you're Switzerland, you know, she's never gonna like have your back or anything like that, probably. But I will let people like that come to me, and if I think it's worth my attention, I'll give a little bit of time there, but it's very limited. These are people you need to keep where they belong, okay? So they can't be upgraded. But I'm doing a series on friendship for those of you who follow me, especially on like TikTok, you know, and stuff. I started the series on friendship like a week and a half ago, and it's been blowing up. I've been doing a ton of videos, and the next one I'm doing, I'm actually planning on filming it tonight, is on groups and what I've learned in my 46 years about groups. All right, so this is just an interesting timing here. Okay, let's move on to another one. Who do we have next? This is for Hunter. Insights into my apartment search, or do I relocate? Okay, could you restate that? Okay, is there more? The first, okay, here we go. Hold on a second here. So the first question context, okay, do I stay in Greeley, or move to Denver? And then the second question here is, what can I expect with my relationship with Daniel? Okay. Relationship with Daniel, expect, and the move. Okay, where do I move? Okay, thank you. You could take that down, Diana. So let's take a look at this. Immediately on reading this, like my nose is itching, and that is symbolic of your roots. Okay, you got a couple people coming through here who are talking about don't forget your roots. All right, don't forget your roots. I think that has more to do with the relationship, but also if you're looking into these relocations seriously, you know, you want to factor in where you came from. That's a good way to say that. Greeley or Denver? I feel in Denver more, but neither is a wrong answer. So you're going to hate me for this, but this falls in a free will zone. There's nothing I can do about it. It's not a right or a wrong. It's not a black or white, you know, left or right. It's not a red flag. It's two green flags. What do you want? Oh my God, this is driving me nuts. It just won't stop. It's like, what do you want? What do you want? Where are your roots and what do you want? You know, what have you been wanting? What have you been wanting? Forget Daniel, forget work, forget, it's almost like forget everything. What do you want? You know, and looking at these places, it feels like, because all I can do is give you the info, you can do whatever you want with it. It feels like if you go to Greeley, it could run out. It's like, okay, I got here, you know, I got the t-shirt, I experienced everything. This almost has a little bit of a feel to it. Like, do I want it for me or do I want it because of the way it's going to look to everyone else? Do I want it for me on a soul level? Is it in alignment with my higher mind, or do I want it because I've been programmed to want some of the things associated with it? Okay. And so that's always going to run short when we decide to go with that route in life. It's going to fall flat in a short period of time. Okay. But it's still good. It's still a go. It's still something you could do. You could use it as a stepping stone. You know, maybe it's not your forever choice. But there is good there. There's purpose to it. And growth and lessons. Now, when I go over here with Denver, I feel like there's more going on. I feel like in some ways, though, there's more conflict. So there could be more resistance. This could have to do with the politics of the place, you know, the government. This could have to do with community issues. This could have to do with hearing infrastructure. I don't know if that's like a commuting issue. There could be some things in Denver that you're like, you know, this feels like a conflictual situation for me, but I would argue that often that can lead to the best, you know, outcomes. Whenever we have resistance, we do have to wonder if there's a big win right around the bend for some reason, you know, like new level, new devil, as I'm always saying. So there is some stuff they're worth examining. It seems to bring you out the most, especially through your throat chakra. So there would be pleasant long-term potential there for you. As far as Daniel is concerned, what can you expect in the relationship with Daniel? Some inconsistency. Daniel seems to go through some heaviness from time to time that reminds me a bit of, and I can't prescribe a diagnose, maybe like depression or mental health issues or energy drops. And Daniel can go into Danny's world. You know, it's almost like this person disappeared. They went off into their own space, their own head, their own world. And that's safety. And that can feel to some degree like rejection of you, or like you're not allowed in here. So it can start to feel almost like abandonment. But it's weird because it's coming from abandonment. There could be some attachment style issues going on here. We could need more therapy here, okay? Okay. Sometimes if Daniel feels like Daniel is going to be abandoned or rejected, or you're not going to want to like deal with him anymore because he's becoming someone you have to carry sometimes, not all the time, sometimes he could start to wall off, become detached, emotionally unavailable. And this isn't an area for you to hold sympathy. Okay. You could be empathetic to the journey, the struggle, but walling off another person, cutting them out, detaching, knowing you're doing that because you have a bad habit of doing it because you haven't gone to enough therapy, you haven't picked up on new tools, or you're fearing abandonment. And so you know that manipulating in this way will get the other person to chase you is a form of abuse. It's a form of neglect, but it's a direct form of emotional abuse. So I have zero sympathy when people pull this shit. It looks though when it comes out of him like it's very innocent, like it's very like, oh, I'm a victim, or this is what I'm going through, or this is just how I handle things, or I'm trying to handle things better. And it's like, then prove it to me. Then prove it to me. Here's how I know you're going to actually work at it. It's not happening anymore, you know, or like it's happening a whole lot less, or like the tendency is there and you disappear to go handle it, not disappear to cut me off. Okay. Hopefully that makes some sense. Once that's in check, you can invest more there. See what he does. And I think calling it out once is enough because you're not his mom. Okay, let's move on to another one. Thank you, Hunter. Do we have any more coming in? Yeah, for those of you asking, if you're popping in, can you just take that down real quick, Diane? I just want to explain this to everyone again because these shows have gotten like big and longer. So for those of you who buy early and then you watch the replay later on YouTube at AskIvy the Medium, or you missed your reading, we now timestamp. So Diana will be timestamping everything in the comment section, but usually she has to wait until after to put that up. Okay, so you can always go back and watch it on my YouTube channel and just look up your question directly. All right, we're going to move on to another one. What do we have coming up next? This is Alicia. Says, I inherited a house. Okay. Would it be better for me to sell and reinvest? I'm feeling that. And then you said emotionally and financially. Okay. In other rental properties, or keep it and rent it out as a midterm rentals instead. I mean, I'm not feeling the second option. I'm just not. Let me see if there's anything there I'm missing. Rental properties, or keep it and rent it. It's just not. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't. There are red flags here. This is not. Let's unload this thing. You know, I would say. I feel that financially for you, it's going to be the best option. It's going to lead to better options. It's going to lead to more freedom. There's some things coming down. What do they say? Coming down the pike. Is that how they say it? There's some things around the bend that you're going to need this for. Okay. So there are some unforeseen circumstances, two in particular, one coming in relatively soon and the other one about 6-7 months after that. I think that you're going to want this freedom for those things. The other red flags that are connected here are connected to like the property itself, what it attracts. This place also has paranormal problems. I mean, so when we're talking about paranormal problems, we could be talking about infestations. We could be talking about water damage, constantly freaking pipes breaking. Why this? Why that? I just got this fixed. How many times is the plumber going to be in here? What are these bugs? So it's not just necessarily like mice or rat infestations. It could just be like insects, type of people that it attracts. This is a shit show. And it's not that the structure is bad or that the foundation is cracked or that there's any like logical reason. It's energetic. It is what it is. The land is also bad, you know, so we've got land issues. You got land issues like this. I mean, you know, we could do as many paranormal cleansings as we could do it weekly. With a situation like this, you're really not going to fix it. There's a time and a place to know when to move. okay, and leave spirit or the freaking energy to itself and be like, toodalooski, I'm out of here. I'm not, this is going to be good for you emotionally as well. I really don't like the people that will want to be living there. It's like money problems, contract, negating a contract. It's like people you can't get out, just too much. Now, I think that going forward with your other option, the first thing that you mentioned, which was sell and reinvest. Yeah, I mean, freedom. It's freedom. Sell and reinvest. Sell and reinvest. You could reinvest in a few different ways. It doesn't have to be back in property, but I do think that two opportunities to reinvest coming in awfully quick, awfully soon together. I do wonder too, if you've ever thought about a brick and mortar where you would like run a business, or brick and mortar where you could have the business on the bottom and like live above, or live in the back, or like a side-by-side or a duplex. Like what's going on? What's going on? What are the other options? Take into consideration, if that's the route you take, everything you've been wanting to build in your life, so that it's not just like selling off one property to buy another property. Like what else? What's the full picture here on the ultimate goals that you have for yourself, including business? How can we merge? And it can also be leveraged. Something else I don't see really being able to do with this other, the old property. It's like, I can't really use it for leverage much more. This is, if you take this first route, you're going to be able to use this as leverage onto something else, something else, something else, something else. Okay. Partnerships also come up here, and some networking. So yeah, there's a lot there. The other one, just nothing. Death, dead, it's dead. Sure, you feel it emotionally too. All right, let's move on to another one. Thank you, Alicia. And the next one is for Anna Pekka. Is this a question or just a comment? Anna says, when we ask questions and you share what you're seeing physically, are we able to adjust that psychic prediction using the guidance you give on how to act in a more aligned way? Or does the psychic prediction stand true regardless? Depends on what I said. So when I give you a prediction and I say, this is what's going to happen, then that's what's going to happen. When I give you a prediction and I say, but free will is involved, there are too many hands in the pot, timeline can move and shift, circumstances could change, I can't give a 100% guarantee, that means that it can be affected. So not just by you, but by everyone involved. So you want to be real careful with that information, especially if you're trying to manipulate something to go in a very specific direction. I'd keep my mouth shut. Understanding it's in a free will zone, so it's probably time sensitive. It's not going to be open for negotiation or manipulation for long, but yes, you can. Now, if I didn't say anything like that, there's either nothing that really needs to be done, or it's not even a possibility. Like it's fixed, it's written in the stars, it's going to happen regardless. But I would have to know the exact prediction that was made in order to give you 100% on that answer. But this is why I'm always talking to you guys about, like, for those of you that are readers in the audience, be very careful, when you give predictions about the future, because the majority of readers out there internationally don't understand the difference between free will future and destiny charted future. They just give predictions and they talk about shit like it's going to happen. And like, if it's in the free will zone, that is not a guarantee. And there's stuff that needs to be done, and it could move and shift timeline. It's only gonna happen if it's actually written in the stars. It is fixed. It is contracted to happen. That's the only time we can make full predictions like that. Okay. And most readers don't know that. So that's a really important question to ask, Anna. That's good for the collective too. Thank you. Anna Teresa says, it was more curiosity on how it works. Oh yeah. Yeah. So that's how it works. And I teach in my psychic mediumship course. There are 2 seats. I could still fit 2 more people in there. If you guys are interested, reach out. But we we talk a lot about that, like how exactly that breaks down, how it feels, how it looks, how it would look on, like if when you do your readings, if you're using a piece of paper, where that would land, how you are responsible for stopping and breaking it down further. Yeah, there's a lot there. So super duper important. We know how to do that properly. That gets real confusing. And you get a lot of disappointed people who are like, why didn't this happen? Why didn't that happen? Why did all these psychics predict it and it didn't happen? Because none of them knew. None of them knew the difference between destiny and free will. Or they're getting lazy, or they're telling you what you want to hear. So yeah, we have to be careful. All right, we're going to move on to another question here. This is for Alicia. And Alicia says, would it be a good partnership to work with Jitu S to obtain new rental properties? What do you see about this partnership and him? Okay, let's take a look. Jitu S, I feel like he's really hustling. I'll tell you that. He's got his hustle game going. He seems to be the type of person who could sell a ketchup popsicle to a lady in white gloves. Part of the way he's able to do that is by sometimes being brutally honest. So people who are salesmen, people who can manipulate, people who can convince are very good at making sure that periodically they present themselves as a total open book, or very raw and honest, or that they would expose something vulnerable, like in this case, maybe in like a sale or a property, right? It's like, this is a vulnerable spot and I just want you to know, this isn't good. This isn't good. And it's like, well, so then we start kind of letting our guard down and we're like, okay, I could trust this person. Never, ever, ever just decide I'm all in, with someone. There is an ability, okay, with this individual to find the right spots, find the right places, find the right spaces at the right numbers, and something about the right people. So this person is well networked. They're better networked than they let on. I mean, if I were to brag on something, I'd be bragging on that shit. Why are we not bragging on that? The humble approach. If I look humble, okay, then I'm a better salesman. That's true. Because what we're really looking to do here is create a sense of trust. Okay. And like I'm not all about the money. I'm not all about the money or ego. So I think what's happening is that you could find that this person is pretty well networked, that this person is sometimes, though, inconsistent in getting back to you or following through. And that's where sometimes the mask slips or some true colors come out in regards to like me, and like, am I making enough money? Am I getting enough of a hustle out of this? It's like, if it's not going to pay out, you just may not hear from this person at all. So they are constantly prioritizing like what's going to bring me the most, right? That's business. I mean, but you should be aware. I think that you can count on this person to also be thorough. So they are pretty good at dotting the I's, crossing the T's, making sure that things are legit, getting you connected to the right places or getting you in the right spaces. This could also have to do with timing. You seem to not know. I don't know if you're new in this or why you seem to not know what's going on. I mean, originally I didn't feel like you were new in this business, but it seems like when you're dealing with this person, you're learning a lot. It's like, well, I didn't know that. Or did that change? Or what's happening with this? Or is this a new state law? Or like, what the hell? Like, where am I? It's a little Alice in Wonderland. It's like, what? Is that wrong? And it's like, it's not wrong. No, I'm just confused. Like, I think that working with this person could be a learning experience for you in a few different ways. And I think that you need to have a really clear understanding on what it is and where you want to go so that you're not wasting time. Okay, their time, especially because, like I said, they disappear, ghost. They'll come back, but like never show that you're, I don't really know what I'm doing, or I don't really know what I want, or, you know. And also, if this person is leading you to junk, like foundation issues, sewage problems, plumbing issues, this brick is like old, but it's not that the brick is the problem, but like maybe the way it was laid or the time period that it was laid, we know for a fact has structural problems or lead to structural problems. If we have any roof issues, if we have it needs to sometimes be a quick no, because sometimes I see them bringing in things that are not of the highest quality. And, you know, if someone was going to be a slumlord or something, I mean, it's not an issue, but just be careful for that. I don't like some of the things that are being mentioned here. Okay. I forgot what the original question was. Should you be working with this person or something like that? I mean, you could. I would, but I would also be mindful every step. Okay. Okay. We are going to move on to another one. Thank you, Alicia. Let's see. This is for Matthew. So Matthew wants to know, who has the wallet? The wallet and the watches. Who has the wallet and watches over me? I just want to know who took the wallet from my apartment. This is worded a little odd. Who took the wallet and watches over me? I want to know who took the wallet from my apartment. All right, let's just go with who took the wallet from my apartment. Looks like a male. Looks like I want to say this looks like a middle-aged male, but I think he just like looks rough. Okay, this person looks like they're probably in their mid-40s, but they're like early 30s. Is like, damn, that's unfortunate. You know what I mean? Like sometimes people just eat trash and smoke and drink and like don't take care of their weight. And I see scruff covering up. It's almost like covering up my double chin and my, you know, like a belly. I see someone who's in like rough, like looks old, but I don't think they are that old. Yeah. Thinning hair up here, like light brown, little rough, like they think they're hard, like they talk like they're rough, they talk like they're hard, they talk like they got some kind of like, I don't know, street cred or some shit going on. They like shitty tattoos, like patchy tattoos. I got shit on my fingers. I got like just bad tattoos, bad tats everywhere. Something on the neck. I don't know if this person tried to say like they got this one in prison, and maybe they, you know, they probably did, but it's like, why would you do that if it was going to look that bad? So that I could say I got it in prison. Okay. I mean, this is someone who wanted to be seen. You know, this is someone who wants to be known. This is the alpha man, you know, this is someone who comes in and just like thinks they're something because in the world they're nothing and they don't want to work on themselves to become something. It's how he looks, it's how he acts. That's what he did. Okay. And it's a literal, it's almost like blaming you. This to me feels narcissistic and sociopathic because it's blaming you for like being vulnerable or having your stuff not out necessarily, but like within reach. You know, it's, well, this person had it coming, you know, or they should know better. This person has no remorse, no moral compass, no ethical code of conduct, and will probably end up back in jail at some point for something stupid that goes on in a gas station, but we'll see. Yeah, that's what that looks like to me. Okay, and you do have loved ones watching over you, would have warned you. Like if your ears were ringing whenever this person was around, you got like a burning at the back of your head up into your neck. They seem to be coming through with other people too. They're connected to 2 other people. So it's like the 3 freaking stooges here. Okay, so maybe you were getting warnings about those other people. Like, I don't know, I don't have proof that they can be. I'm not saying they would have stolen your wallet, but like, we are the company we keep. And so, like, you have loved ones, a grandmother, a grandfather in particular, who would be keeping an eye, someone who watches over you very close, like a mom. And, you seem to have allowed things to go further than what you should have. Remember, and this is a general collective message for everyone, when your gut instinct or spirit, your psychic ability activates telling you no, or to get rid of people, or to stop associating and kick them out, or whatever, you just do it. You can figure out the details later, but you got to be faster, okay, on these things. Thank you, Matthew. We're going to move on to another one. This is for Tiffany Williams, a general message. General message for Tiffany. I heard you're going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way. Turn your car around. And then it's like, I am? And you're like turning the car around. You're like, oh, I was going the wrong way. And then Spirit's like, you're going the wrong way. And you're like, what? How many routes are there to take? You know what I mean? Like, where do I go? There are a million ways to go. It's not like, you see a sign for streets, everything's always a four-way, like everything breaks down to fours. It's like four-way. But like, if you look at a compass, there are all these little lines in between. There are a million different ways that you could go. Like, what about all that open space? What I feel is happening with you in this message is that you're going through a period of time where you've recently been confronted that you're going in the wrong direction in some areas of your life. This may be involving career and or resources and relationships in particular. It may be negatively affecting, I can't prescribe or diagnose, but your health, your mental health, your physical health, and your emotional health. Your energy levels drop when we are going the wrong way, or we are investing in something we shouldn't. We're talking with people we have no business dealing with, okay? So it could have been a drop that started bringing you to that reality. Could have also been coming through dreams, prophecy, of feeling like you're being, stress dreaming or haunted, or like you're dealing with nightmares and things like that. But ultimately, you seem to have redirected. Now, a lot of this is feeling fairly recent, like even within the last 2 weeks or so. Could it be 2 months? It could. Take it out resonates. But I was feeling like you were like, oh, I'm going to follow this instruction and I'm going to reroute myself. And then no sooner are you like being told again, that isn't it. And so where you are now is sort of like a deer in the headlights. It's like, well, this is too many options, or I don't even know what the options are. Like, what does that mean? And I think for you, it's not about looking out here. It's not about looking at the street signs or all the other potential avenues you could take, or what other people think, or how other people are going to direct you, or even what I say to you today. I think that what it's about now is going in. This is karmic for you. It's going in. There's a time to be introspective. So the answers are not out here for you at all. Okay. So going in, I would say for the next 10 weeks or so, every day, making sure at least 15 minutes, you're saying, what in me is untapped? What direction am I meant to go in? What direction do I want to go in? What do I want to be feeling every day? What do I want how do I want my day-to-day lifestyle, to feel? What is my future self? What ignites a fire in the belly for me? What am I passionate about? Who and what needs to go? Where have I been resisting change? Where have I become the block? What am I going to do about that? And forget everything out here. Forget everyone out here. Okay? So you got your work cut out for you for a little bit. But I don't really think this is a free will zone. I think there's some destiny stuff going on here. I think there's a very specific direction you're supposed to be going in, but you have to do this first. Okay, so we want to nail it. Matthew Aguado said, thank you. You are very welcome, Matthew. Thank you. I'm sorry that happened to you. Sprinkle, aka Chaley, says, what route should I be taking as far as Daniel goes? Daniel? All these Daniels tonight. Daniel, what route? For Sprinkle? Okay, Sprinkle and Daniel. What should Sprinkle be doing with Daniel? I heard nothing. and my jaw's popping. This person may stress you out purposefully acting aloof or being what I like to call deliberately confused, or I'm misunderstanding. You're misunderstanding me, not because I'm not a clear communicator, but because you want to frustrate me. And so you could stay outside, right? Like a dog, like begging to come in with droopy eyes, you know, never to find a home again. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, good luck. There is this sense of you just reaching an endpoint here where you figure it out. It's almost like you figure it out. What are you figuring? You're figuring him out. And this could be in me saying this, that you're figuring him out, whatever. But like, there is an action here of inaction that needs to be taken, where it's like, I'm not reaching for you. I'm not chasing you. When you show inconsistency or that you're confused, I'm not repeating myself. I'm not hoping for you to correct it. I'm simply wanting the truth. I want to understand what is actually here, what you're actually doing, what you're actually made of, who you actually are. And then I can stop sort of being hopeful or looking at potential or holding space or wishing for it to be something more. But the reality is, with someone like Daniel, they're not going to show you that willingly. They have to kind of screw up, or like maybe someone like me pointing it out, then you can see it more clearly. You have to spot it. You know, they're not going to just give you that info because it's a hustle. Okay. So this is someone who enjoys upsetting you by making you feel like they're a victim, or there's deliberate confusion, or they misheard you. This is someone too, if you were to ask them something, maybe they pick and choose, they cherry pick on their answers. They don't really answer a lot. These are manipulative tactics to get you to chase. If he thinks he can get you into a place of submission and control you, then he could sort of feed, you know, off of your energy. So that's what that looks like, you know, as in regards to how you handle this person. It's like, don't reach out, don't react, don't want anything from them. You know, he can come and bring in, if you're going to be dealing with him, whatever he's going to bring in, and you can sit back and just analyze it. You know, but I wouldn't be giving energy there. Definitely not, because you are a food source to this person. Okay, thank you. We are going to move on to another one. Do we have a bunch more coming in, or where are we on things? Diana, can you pop that down and just let me know how many more? So if you guys are tuning in late, welcome. This is my Ask Ivy show, where you drop a $10 donation and any type of question under the sun. Nine more. Okay, I have to take a restroom and tea break. So you guys give me like 3 minutes and I'll be back. Keep them coming. Yeah. Okay, that looks good. I will be right back, you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for being patient. Okay. Thank you for being patient. Let's get back into the, actually, I want to turn on my heater. I'm freezing. Okay. Let's see where we are. Okay, Diana, who do we have next? Carly? Carly, you're up. All right, Carly. I wanted to know if John, John, and I will ever be in a committed relationship and what his feelings are. Okay, so John and Carly, will they be in a relationship? What are his feelings? John. He doesn't really seem very interested in something like that. He appears to be more, I heard, convinced of himself. That's an odd way to say it. He is convinced that he is maybe more important than what he really is. He is convinced that he is the main character. Now, we all want to center ourselves in life. We should be. And we should be prioritizing whatever our goals are, but he may have a way of presenting as though he's interested in the benefits of a relationship without actually putting into a relationship, because it's all about how he is centered. Okay, so this could end up being a situation where it's like never really getting locked down in that way. It's never really moving. I'm not saying it's never moving in that direction. It may appear like it is, but it isn't. It can't sort of get to that place. And even if it were to ever, or as close as it comes, it tends to be that it's about it benefiting him. So as long as everything is benefiting him, he's kind of around, but he doesn't seem to be invested. He also doesn't think, so in regards to like your question, you know, how does he feel about you? He doesn't really think about you or anyone else in that way. He doesn't think in terms of like what you need or how you guys could work together to build things, or about like it's always, what can she give me? What can she do for me? What can I sort of extract here? How does she feel about me? It's almost like you're looking at him saying, how does he feel about me? And he's looking at you saying, how does she feel about me? What will she give to me? You know, it's not working. It's not coming together. I don't see a situation like this being able to come together because it's not really meant to. This is about learning karmic lessons. This is about figuring out more about who you are, where your boundaries lie, what you'll settle for, what you certainly won't, and making sure that you're never having to sort of pull teeth with someone, that someone who is ready is giving, they're showing up, and they are getting rid of their old attachments to things that are preventing that. They're also thinking in terms of we, not me, me, me. And we just don't have that here. Okay. So, you know, I feel like attracted to you. I feel like he's interested when he thinks you're going to give him, you know, attention or support, but beyond that, it doesn't really go anywhere. So it's very ego-based. Thank you for your question. I'm sorry I don't have a better, more positive answer on that. Sometimes we like certain types of people who just disappoint us, you know, and it's like, you don't really like them. You're just kind of hooked in a pattern. Okay, let's move on to another one. This is for Edgar. What blessings are coming my way? Edgar. Money. We got money coming in. And fall leaves and more money coming in. All right, let's break this down. Can't fit anything else on here. Let's just do a new one. Let's go. Edgar. Okay, so you've got money coming in in the form of like conversation where someone at work may say something to you like, would you be interested in doing this other thing, this extra thing? I think that it may not be a huge like transition or like a brand new job position or a super significant title change, as much as it would be an opportunity to kind of organize something or host something, lead something. You know, it's smaller, but it's not small. It is a blessing because it's being offered. It is a blessing because it comes up also as cash. So how does it, you know, transfer to actual money? You know, I think you would be getting paid for it, but it is also something that looks great in, like, you know, your resume, for example, your portfolio. You're able to say, so the CV, it's like I'm able to say this is another tool in my toolbox. And it's not the type of tool you can get unless you're chosen, unless it's offered to you. Okay. So I would be open to doing that. And it may seem a little bit like, oh, well, it's more work and I don't know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like, yes, granted, but anything that's offered around this time. Then we have fall coming up for you, which feels like another money opportunity. And this is coming through. And I don't do Starbucks. I don't ever recommend. I'm boycotting and they're feeding Israel and don't. Okay. But anyways, it comes up symbolically, not because it's real, and don't do it. But it comes up as a cup of Starbucks. Now, Starbucks in my symbol base can be about expensive luxury, you know, almost wasteful, you know. It's something that maybe you're able to do on like a daily basis if you wanted to after that elevation in your finances. It's like, if I want to stop and I want to get an $8 drink every day, even a couple times a day, I could, and I'm not even thinking about it. I'm not even aware that there's a label on this cup, okay, from this company. I'm not even aware that it's here. You're just not thinking about it. I think that the money coming in, again, around fall, the fall season, is going to situate you in such a way where you maybe spend a couple months kind of taking a deep breath and, you know, getting used to it and enjoying it. And then it's off, okay, on like adventures, investments, you know, how else can I use this? There could be someone trying to talk to you too. There could be someone trying to talk to you in the next 2 weeks. Feels like love, chit-chatting with you, love. Love, lovely, and them like wanting more out of you. So that could be interesting. Pay attention there as well. Thank you, Edgar. We're going to move on to another one. This is for CJG. What actions should I take? Oh my God, there's a fucking centipede in here. I can't. Where did it come from? I'm going to have nightmares for the rest of my life. I can't. Okay. Everything's going to be all right. See, this is why I need a boyfriend. Okay. Oh my God. You guys see this? I'm at a loss. Holy shit. Okay, I'm going to read standing up until I figure out, okay, I think I know what to do. Okay, I need a weapon. When I say this place is creepy in a million different ways, that's the shit I'm talking about. Oh. Why would it come up here? Of all the places, right? Like, you got 5,000 square feet in this house, and it's got to come right here. It's going toward the door. Sweet Jesus. What was I saying? What actions should I take regarding the money owed? Okay, so this is for CJG. Oh, I can't. The money owed by my former tenant, AB, that will lead to the best financial and emotional outcome for me. Okay, so what actions should I take regarding the money owed? AB is this person's name? Okay, Diana, thank you. AB, what should she do with AB and the money owed? It's tough because, you know, it feels like, say you file, okay, say you handle it. It feels like you're not going to be able to collect. So it's a win, you know, lose situation. It's like, I'm winning, and for what, you know, or how do we get this? How do we get this money? I do wonder if this person has like mental health issues. I do wonder if this person is like drinking or using drugs. You know, I do wonder if they are incapable maybe of keeping stable work. There's something about job security. So ultimately, I feel like you need to do it. You need to fight the fight. You need to go after it because karmically you're supposed to. So if you're asking about financially and emotionally, karmically you're supposed to. So there's your emotional route. It can seem more emotionally draining to like be in debate, to have to go through the court system, you know, to have to fight any type of fight. It can seem more emotionally draining, but I assure you, in a situation like this, it isn't, because when the karmic debt is owed, where this other person needs to be shown, they need to be taught a lesson. And then in addition to that, you're supposed to be making a statement in the universe, okay, about your position, how you defend yourself. This has to happen. All right. So the longer you drag it out, the worse off it is. And I do think that you're going to win. I do also think that there could be possibly some means for you to collect that you wouldn't normally like know about. Seems like somebody may be stepping in and telling you, you know, you could do this, you could do that. Yeah. So I think that's what needs to be done. And I think once you get moving, taking action, you are going to be able to put it out of your mind more. Okay. I also just want to say, and I feel like this is a little bit of a collective message, but hold on, you guys. Oh, I can't fucking deal with this thing. I can't even stand it. I think that this is just sort of a general message for everyone. If you're sitting here tonight or you're rewatching this and you're like, why did this thing happen to me? You know, I don't do this to people. I would never act this way. You know, why am I tied up in this or that or the other? We need to also remember that when shit happens in life, okay, it isn't just about us. We are a whole network. We are literally one. And it is often about the other person's karma or lessons. Okay. It's not something we want to take too personally. Okay. And this feels a little bit like that type of situation, or even a few of the readings tonight. I'm like, I hope people don't think they're off base, or that you're doing something wrong, or that you had this coming. You know what I mean? We got to think bigger picture. You're not the only one involved. Okay, thank you, CJG. Move on to another one. This is from TikTok. This is Maggie Small. Hi, Ivy. I am ready for the next chapter of my life. Fun. I want this progress, but I also sense I push it away. Any insight on my current gatekeepers? Gatekeepers? Okay. So Maggie, is that the, I'm sorry, can I see that name again? Yeah, it is Maggie. Okay, Maggie, thank you. So you're ready for the next chapter, and you want to know how you may be like pushing it away. I don't really feel like you are. I mean, I don't have any problems here. I think that what you're really good at is, once you're in motion, you stay in motion. So you're really good at getting into a rhythm of things and being excited about it, being able to connect things and experiences, people. I think that it's a little bit of an in-between phase right now, where it's like you've sort of launched, but you're not necessarily moving at the speed that it'll take for you to like not have these thoughts anymore. Okay, so it really is about pace. It really is about speed. And I think you're entering into that in the next ballpark 2 months. So as far as, anything that you're doing to limit yourself during that time, I would just say that you need to be no nonsense in saying no to things that aren't ultimately what you want. Saying no to people that aren't already proven to be able to pay you out in reciprocity. Like if the patterns aren't already there, that's a no. I think being a little bit less naive. You do have a tendency right now, and I do see you getting tested a few times in this area going forward. It's almost like having a tendency to be like, everything's going to be fine. Everything's okay. Everything's good. Well, I don't want to think negative, or I don't want to think dark, or I don't want to think, this way or that way. And it's like, no, I think you should be a little bit more, it's kind of like based, rooted, grounded, detached, keeping your cards close to your vest. This is not really a time to be like, I'm open. This is a time to be like, I'm here to strategically enjoy, and have new experiences and like level up and expand out. But I want to do it in the right way, with the right people, and at the right time. And so there's a sort of reserved energy that feels very mature and different from the way you've been in the past, from the way you've handled things in the past. Okay, so that's what I think is going on. I really don't feel like you're that hesitant. I think you processed all of that already. It feels like mentally. Okay, you have. And just the fact that you're asking is a sign that even if you were to do it or backpedal, go back into old bad habits, of like ego, fear, manipulation, and control, even if you were to backpedal, you're not going to allow it to run your mood or your decisions or direct the actions you take, right? Or cause inactivity. Like, you're not going to allow it. So I think you can let go of that, but yeah, things are about to pick up speed, and the rest of those thoughts will probably go right out the window at that time. There's not even going to be time. Love that. All right, we are going to move on. Sprinkle Chaley, just giving some feedback here, says, thank you. Yes, I have TMJ. The jaw cracking thing, yes, it sucks. That's really interesting. Okay, thank you for your testimonial. Thank you for confirming that. CJG is just giving some feedback here as well. Thank you, Ivy. It is a tough situation. I've been stressing, debating whether to take my ex-tenant to court or not. I have helped her a lot, and she really took advantage of my kindness. Yes, 100%. You know, and you have to. You know, how we collect the money, the fact that you would have two different options to collect the money, you know, is a good sign. Sometimes we have to do it because it's about justice. Karma, it's the right thing to do. I'm sorry that happened to you. Mackenzie Mooser says, what is the primary obstacle? Okay, so we've got Mackenzie. Primary obstacle my soul has scheduled for me to overcome next. You're just trying to overcome you right now. You know, you're just, and this may take a while. I'm not going to sugarcoat. I feel you here for a minute. You have a tendency to get in your own way. You have a tendency to think that you either can't do things on your own, or like you really need or want some things that are not good for you. So you have a tendency to think that the route to happiness, fulfillment, a sense of completion, or even joy, that it comes from things and people, you know, out here, and I'm going to pull them in. And so it's almost like you perform in order to attain those things and like retain those things so that you can be happy. And it's a lot of illusion. It's like, who told you those things were going to make you happy when happiness is an inside job, right? Who told you that? Capitalism, society, the patriarchy, white supremacy, on and on and on, colonization, on and on we go. The systems have to be broken down in your brain, or else you're still being run by those systems. And it's like you are starting to kind of figure out that maybe there are some systems, but you're not really breaking them down. So this is going to be a while. This is it for a while. You know, that is the next and only scheduled thing for the foreseeable future, because it's each individual system and then your own self. You know, how do you go from having that level of sort of confusion, right? Deception, living within deception, to thinking these are the paths to happiness and that you're obligated to go after them. How do you then start to really figure out who you are without those systems? And how do you walk that out in your life? That's going to take a minute. Okay. And that's what's scheduled. So break down the systems. Yes. Okay. Great question. Thank you for that. Love that. I just want to say it's a very brave question, because a lot of people don't want to look at what growth they need to do, or healing, or what they need to figure out, or what challenges are coming in. Like, everyone just wants rainbows and butterflies, you know? Not everyone, not my people. My client base, my followers are freaking amazing. You guys are like amazing. But typically, I'm saying out in the world. So I think that's a brilliant question. Absolutely brilliant. Let's move on. We are going to do last call. Okay, so last call. If you have not gotten your question in yet, now is the time. You're going to drop your $10 donation, and whatever question you have, if you guys would prefer to book something privately, you can go onto my website, Ivy Rivera Psychic Medium.com. I do work internationally, so there's really something for everyone up there. Now, if you're in a time zone that is completely different than mine, you know, you're in the Middle East, for example, sometimes it can get a little tricky. You can always get a video reading sent over to you. Also, just a reminder, okay, we have another one coming in here. Okay, just let me get to this question and whatever other ones are coming in. And then I just want to remind you guys about Friday is the Unbound Sage. Okay, so we have Jake M says, is it better for me to sell the Lake Village house? and move somewhere else. Okay, either out of the country or a different state, or move to the Lake Village house. I think it would be okay if you were to move to the Lake Village house for a while, but ultimately this is supposed to be sold. That would be for your highest and best, okay, to sell this off. And what ends up happening after that is that you are able to, I want to say, accumulate more. It's like whether it's accumulate more wealth, accumulate more freedom, accumulate more expansion opportunities. I see partnerships. I see networking. It seems like you become really happy with your work also. So there's a lot that goes on through the selling of this property that you're probably not connecting, because you're thinking of it, I'm sure, logically, you know, and in categories, like one has nothing to do with the other, but I assure you they're connected. So I like what happens when we move this. I do think that you could find yourself in great debate as to whether or not you move from state to state or you do move out of the country. This debate seems to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And one of the reasons that's happening is because, unlike the first part of your question, should I sell it or no, which is like destiny charted, like, yes, you need to sell it. This answer is a little bit more free will. This is about what you want, what you choose, where you are in your development and your growth, and what you want to grow into, what you want to have around you. There seems to be something, if you move from state to state, that you would miss if you didn't do it. It's almost like I'm not done. It's like I'm not done with this place, or this place isn't done with me. I see the mountains. I heard the Rocky Mountains, but mountains are made of rock. So I don't know. That could just be my brain. But I heard the mountains, and I see like open space, and you feeling connected to like the culture, the history, the land itself, you know, the weather, the nature, the elements, the animals. It's like, I'm really supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be immersed in this. And there could be one or two places, you know, that you're thinking of doing that in, that you're supposed to do that in. And it would be okay for you to go to each of those, or at least one of those, before you switch countries. But ultimately, you do seem to be, you know, going overseas, ultimately. Okay, so a little bit of a process there on that part. And because it's up to your free will, I would say that some of the pinpointing here on the map of exactly where you want to go isn't going to fully come to mind. You're not going to feel completely at peace with it until you've decided 100% to sell this property, because some of the clarity that comes through the sale, which sounds weird, but that is how it's going to go. Interesting. All right. Thank you, Jake. And do we have any more coming in? Another one for Edgar. Okay, so Edgar wants to know. Edgar says, Jennifer went out of her way on her day off from work to make sure I got a birthday shout out last month at work. Oh, at a work meeting. I was surprised. I'm curious of her thoughts right now, okay, about our friendship. Okay, her thoughts on your friendship. Well, I'm not sure why you're surprised. I'm not sure why you're surprised. Because I think that she makes pretty clear regularly that she values you, whether that's trying to invest in conversation or lingering longer, or, you know, laughing, just being engaging, you know, in general. I think she's often showing you that she values you and that she values the friendship. I think she really values you, Edgar. I think she really thinks that you are, I heard the bee's knees. You got a grandfather coming through here. The bee's knees. She thinks that you're kind of it. I feel like, I feel that maybe in her head, you're the ideal. Like you're well balanced. So it's like he's well balanced, like masculine, feminine energy. He's smart, but like something about, it's like smart and emotional, but good with money. I don't know why she thinks those are two different things. I think the men she's dealt with aren't well-rounded. They're not whole. Okay. It's like, if they're good over here, they're shit over here with this, or they make a mess of the finances, you know, but like he is intelligent enough to have a decent job, but like he can't handle money, or he wastes money. Like, she's had a lot of bad relationships and examples, and it's like you're an ideal, okay, in her head. So she values you as a person, but she also, I think, wants to make sure that you're, you know, nearby. Esmeralda Marie agrees. Yes. She just wants to make sure you're nearby, you're paying attention, you know, you're aware of her. So she may do things like that that seem little, but they're not so little. To kind of, I don't want to say keep tabs, that sounds a little manipulative, but like to just kind of keep the connection going, to keep the cords there and in place. Okay. So yeah, that's what she thinks. She also feels that you're very supportive of her, and it may be a support that she's not getting elsewhere, from like just people in her life in general. Like, she also doesn't make herself very vulnerable to receive the support. She would never like ask for it, for example, but it does seem like you give support in a way that really resonates with her. Sometimes we click with people or we connect with people and we never ask for a single thing, but somehow they deliver what we need every single time, right? That's the vibe here. And so it's not going unnoticed. Okay. And she wants to keep that connection going with you in that way too. So the friendship is valuable. There's a lot going on here. Uh-huh. All right. And happy belated birthday, Edgar. Very nice. All right. Do we have any more? Susanna is next. Susanna. Ezzy, where were you when I needed you to hunt a minute ago? Susanna Cruz. Hi, Ivy. I have been with my boyfriend, Jose, for a few years. Is he worth continuing the relationship with, or should I leave him? I'm so confused. I need clarity. Okay, well, he's making you confused, and you're making you confused. Yes, leave him. Leave him. Okay? What is confusing? You have a pattern a mile long here of his bad behavior, his disruption, his lack of transparency, his complete and utter lack of concern for how he's affecting you. He thinks of you as almost like a parent or the leader of the relationship or the leader of like the house or the leader of everything. Like, he sees you as the leader, but he treats you as though you are a throwaway. He doesn't grow. He doesn't change. He doesn't take care of his health. I think the only time he would even present like he really takes care of his health or his hygiene is if like he feels like he needs to get another girl on the hook to serve him. Which he won't. Okay. There is nothing here for you. You are confused because every time you make up your mind to accept the pattern that has been presented to you, how toxic this is, you allow him to convince you that he'll try to do better, or that he like misunderstood and now understands the assignment. Okay. Which is lies. So he's not being honest. And then you want, and this is the part you really need to admit to yourself, you want justice. You want the time back that you wasted. You want the time back that you invested after you knew you should have left him. And you can't get it back this way, sister. You can't get it from him. You can't get it out of him. You can't rewrite this ending all you could do is off like a Band-Aid, cut your losses as soon as possible and go recuperate it from the universe. The universe will pay you back for your troubles, but you're not going to get that justice here. Okay? All right. Thank you, Susanna. We're going to move on to another one. No. Yes. Yes, we are. We're at work, Ezzy. Christina says, could you help me get my clairaudience working? It's only random right now, mostly when I'm asleep. Okay. So Christina and clairaudience. So you could join the psychic mediumship course. You've only missed a few weeks. I have two seats. Registration is closed on the website. So you're going to have to go. We'll have to put you in manually, but reach out if you're interested. So I spend several weeks on clairaudience, okay, with my students. This isn't something I can teach you like right here, right now. But if you're having it at night, you are most likely having it during the day and you don't realize it. So a couple key things. The most common physical reactions that go hand in hand with clairaudience are random bouts of perfusive sweating, anxiety attacks or heart palpitations that aren't connected to any type of like psychological trigger, and ear ringing, tinnitus, or pressure in the ears, or feeling like a seashell is up to your ear, or your ear gets hot, your ear tingles, okay? The grandmothers used to say left for love and right for spite, and that was fairly accurate because when the left ear rings, it's mediumship, and when the right ear rings, it's either your guides or it's your clairvoyance kicking in. It's your psychic ability. So learn the difference between left and right. Know that they can get activated simultaneously, especially at night, which isn't helping you. So if your clairaudience is activated at night where you can hear them audibly, or you hear them in your head, and it's coming with the ear ringing, especially as you're dozing off or waking up and the veil is lifted, you're probably going to get it at both sides at once. And that ends up just being a shit show. It's like, okay, well then how do I know what came through first, the chicken or the egg? And like, how do I decipher what's what? So a big part of clairaudience is being able to decipher whether it's mediumship or it's psychic ability, and then taking it down, breaking it down, breaking it down, breaking it down, breaking it down. Now, the other thing that can be happening because you are a level 3 empath is that it's activated. Level 3, 4 empaths, there's a class up on my website called Empathic Awareness. That was part of the psychic mediumship course. So if you take the course, you're required to take that. So just wait. But we just did it a couple weeks ago. Empathic ability, especially at the higher levels, involves a lot of that annoying tinnitus because it gets activated, right? We're energy manipulators. And so other energy manipulators in the universe come in, and when they get too close, they're activating the tinnitus. So you've got an additional layer to your clairaudience, which is, you know, is this being activated by empathic ability? And if so, who, what object, what atmosphere, you know, what spirit, why did it happen? And then from there, we have to break down empathic ability. Is this telepathy? You know, is this clairaudience and telepathy often get confused? So let me just add another layer of confusion onto this. I'm probably making this worse for you. I'm sorry, but I'm trying to cram it in here. When we talk about clairaudience, the ability to hear spirits, right? For most of us after the age of 5 or 6, we start hearing spirits in our head as though it is our own inner voice. It increases. Our native belief is the porcelain, earth, water, and mirrors are all conductors in the bathroom, okay, of communication with the other side. So when you're in the shower, when you're brushing your teeth, things like this, right? It can activate. But when you are a level 3, 4 empath, you automatically develop telepathy. And so you could also confuse your clairaudient ability for reading other people's minds, spirits' minds, energy from, you know, again, atmospheres or objects. So there's a whole heck of a lot going on here. I would say that the first thing you're going to want to do is pay attention to when it's happening during the day based on those physical cues. And then we have to start dividing this out. What category does it go in? Okay. And then bit by bit, we could break it down more and more. The goal should not really be to just like activate it and activate it and activate it. Okay. It's to make it purposeful, useful, so that you can control it. And when you choose not to control it, you're just going to let it fly. At least you know where it's coming from, what the point is. Okay. It shouldn't just be chaos all the time. Yeah. hopefully that helps. But yeah, we spend quite a few weeks on clairaudience just alone in the course, because it is everyone's goal. Everyone wants to be clairaudient. Everyone wants to be able to just sort of sit and listen to spirit and just relay messages. Everybody wants that. Susanna Cruz said, thank you. You're very welcome, Susanna. Thank you. Do we have any more questions or comments coming in? Christina said, thank you. You're welcome. Okay, we are at time. So you guys, I want to remind you, I will be back on Friday for the Unbound Sage. That is going to be unlimited, so you can reserve your messages at the Unbound Sage. I tell you whatever is the most important message for you to hear right now. Maybe the universe is sending you a message. Maybe it's been coming through. Spirit's sending it. I'm getting it for you psychically. I don't know what it's going to be, and I don't know where it's going to come from, but it's going to be important and relevant to where you are right now. Don't forget to get registered for Coffee with Your Angels class coming up, and Reiki. The Reiki deadline for registration is going to be March 9th. Reiki class is on the 14th. I hope to see you guys. If you need to book a reading, a healing, a psychic fair, or a party with me, or you want to come stay at the haunted 1882 Victorian Funeral Home, go to Ivy Rivera Psychic Medium.com. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Diana. Have a good night.